Hello! Welcome to 3D Hangouts. My name is Noah Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit. Join me every week is my brother Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. Pedro Ruiz, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring all of the electronics from Adafruit.
Yeah, this is a show we combine 3D printing, sometimes CNC milling, to make inspirational projects for you folks. Hello, everybody hanging out in the Discord chat room. Pedro's going to take a moment to welcome everybody in the Discord chat room while I fix the Discord chat room page.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night to everybody hanging around all over the world. Giving shout outs to everybody, not just in the Discord over at discord.gg/Adafruit, but we're also on the YouTubes, we're on the Facebooks, we're on the Twitches, on the Periscopes, hanging around all over. Giving shout outs to everybody hanging out. Do Wester, Andy Calloway, Skur, Mike P, Leo David,
Hello, hello.
YouTubes. Good morning to everybody hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. We're back. Last week we took a little bit of a break, but we're back this week and we have some fun, exciting projects that we hope inspire.
Yeah.
So let's do the thing. We're going to run through the regular housekeeping stuff in the morning. So let's head on over to adafruit.com/free and let me see what's going on. All right, looks like our tiers got updated. These things go pretty quickly, so that's good. We got 3 things for you folks this week. For orders that are $99 or more, you will get a half-size Perma Proto PCB. For orders that are $149 or more, you'll get that half-size Perma Proto plus an Adafruit KB2040, the keyboard driver. And for orders that are $200 or more, you'll get the half-size Perma Proto, the keyboard RP2040, and free ground UPS shipping for continental US only. You can go to adafruit.com/free to find out all the deets. These get automatically added to your cart. So make sure you have an account if you don't already. All right, next up, we're going to check out the jobs board at jobs.adafruit.com. Let's find out what's going on this week. So I just headed over there. Looks like we have some new postings this month of June. So check those out. I'm seeing some programmers for some ESP32 stuff, firmware programming for an RP2040 PCB, and an engineering library technician in the California area. So check those out. You can go to jobs.adafruit.com. Post your resume, your skills, or a job request for folks. Cool. Want to check out the weekly newsletter by heading over to adafruit.com/newsletter. And this one is focused on new products that get added to the shop on the weekly basis. That's why it's once a week. That's adafruit.com/newsletter. You can subscribe to that one by clicking on the button. If you want daily stuff, you can go to adafruitdaily.com and check out all the different categories that are available. 3D printing, biohacking, maker business, and Python on hardware. Shout out to everybody for subscribing to the Python on Microcontrollers newsletter. Shout out to Amberella for doing that up every week. And shout out to everyone out there who are submitting their stories. This week on the Circuit Python Show podcast, Amberella was guest this week, so be sure to tune into that one. You can subscribe on all your favorite podcasting services. And that concludes this week's housekeeping. We're going to jump into this week's project. If folks have any comments, go ahead and drop them in the Discord chat room.
Got a quick question from Skur. Are we going to be designing the new Buzz Lightyear helmet from the new movie coming out? I
really
think we
yet.
are now.
Yeah, I was thinking about...
We were cleaning out the garage and we found one of the old SpaceX helmets.
Yeah, that was a fun
kid
build.
put it on, and yeah,
maybe some props. I
I'm
see they have
pretty
some sort
sure.
of blade that looks really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the helmet will be
Yeah,
cool.
we'll see once the movie comes out this week. Maybe we'll check it out. But cool, good suggestion.
Helmet project's always fun. So I think I will add that to my list.
Yeah, the visor part is always difficult to do, but maybe we'll
Just gonna do the same thing I did with the SpaceX one. It's just a
the mesh.
the mesh,
Okay,
the meshy thing.
some sort of Verneuil mesh.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, that's always fun. Get a little twist on that. Yeah, so this week is different. No electronics or 3D printing this week. This week was a learning exercise in CNC milling. So we got a lot of cut off pieces, a lot of scraps of wood, and I really wanted to do something with that stuff. As Pedro was saying, we were cleaning out the garage. What do we do with all these pieces of wood? So I figured, I've always wanted to do wooden Lego bricks, compatible Lego bricks. So we made some tests and we figured out how to CNC the top and the bottom of these building bricks to make them compatible with Lego bricks. So it was a lot of fun to check this one, or to figure this one out. And the CNC mill that we have is from Bantam Tools. It's the desktop PCB mill, and it's a nice little machine that can do these really precise parts. So what's super cool about this is that I figured out how to do the top first, and then I realized, well, how am I going to do the bottom? And if you remember our CNC project where we made custom keycaps, that one required some very fine position tape that would adhere it to the spoil board. But we figured, why not mill the bottom first, and then when we're done, we can flip it and then use an actual Lego plate as the holding jig. So that really sparked this whole project, using Lego base plates as the holding fixture to do the top side of these bricks. So that was a really fun kind of aha moment, and all these bricks just kind of fit into whatever base plate. So you can scale this kind of workflow to be a bigger base plate. I chose the small base plate just because that's what I have on hand. And then I have some of the bigger base plates, like a 16 by 16 stud. However, that doesn't fit on the bed of my CNC mill. It actually crash into the walls if I were to do anything bigger. So you kind of have that ability to kind of create your, you can scale it to make whatever size of bricks you want. And using Fusion 360, we can set up user parameters to make any number of patterns for making more studs or less studs. So the way the bottom of these Legos, let's take a look at an actual Lego brick. You'll notice that the bottom has a deeper pocket than my wooden piece here, and that's because, well, these are injection molded, and the less plastic you use, well, the better it's going to be, the less material you're going to use. But when you're CNC milling, you really don't want to mill away. The more material you have to mill, the longer it's going to take. So I reduced some of the features and simplified them. So instead of having these really thin walls here that work really well with ABS plastic, I just didn't need those. So I just did not, add those to the geometry. Another thing I did was I made this a shallow pocket here. It only needs to be as deep as the tallness of these studs, so it ends up working out pretty well. And when it comes to the weight, they feel about the same. This one obviously is going to be a little bit harder, or a little bit it's going to weigh a little bit more, but that kind of adds to the kind of charm of wood. You get these beautiful textures, and this is you can use different types of hardwood. This is maple, and then I have some cherry, and then over here we have Purple Heart, and they're all unfinished. Just a little bit of light sanding is needed on the bottom here, but the tops end up working out really well, so there's no sanding needed on that. The tolerance actually hold up fairly well, so they're gonna hold up the weight, and I was able to build a little box here. You can also do like pyramids and stuff, but I stuck to the 2x4 brick just because I wanted to be able to scale this and make a whole batch of them. So that's kind of what we did. Another thing I did was I wanted to create a custom shape base plate, and this is the Adafruit logo. I didn't do the bottom here because I didn't really want to fit this in anywhere, but this kind of showcases that you can create any number of shapes and add some studs to them. Yeah, and then these are Lego dots. So these are these lovely tiles. You can make all sorts of fun shapes with them, and that's the type of thing I want to do with this one. But yeah, if you look at some of the wooden building bricks that you can get off places like Amazon, they actually are not compatible with the Lego bricks. They have different brick heights. So I really wanted to make sure that these were that these bricks work with Lego bricks. So that was one of the goals there. Of course, we got Adabot here. He's a little Lego minifig that we've designed and released as a free design that folks can print. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll walk through the Learn Guide fairly quick, but Pedro's got a Duplo here. Duplo are the plus size bricks.
I have a question. If it is compatible with the Duplos, and on the bottom they fit just like any other Lego, but on the top, because you were mentioning you didn't want to mill away all of that, it will not fit the bottom.
Right.
Yeah. So
we
there
could
is
mill Duplos. You could definitely scale up the features like the studs and the tubes.
And if you did want to have it fit, all you'd have to do is probably keep stepping down a little bit more until you get that much.
Right.
Yeah, that's all it needs. You just got to step down more, because otherwise it does fit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't the depth.
Yeah. So that could.
So in that way, it
does
fit, or would fit if you milled in a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, it's the bigger. I think it's like whatever the 4X sized up, and a lot of builders use it when they want to say they're making big models. This is a good way to have those fillers in there without having so many smaller pieces.
Cool. Yes. Yeah. So let's take a look at the Learn Guide and just kind of browse through it. The Learn Guide is just went live this morning, and we have there all of the recipes, the settings, the feeds and speeds. And we walk through the whole process from setting up your stock material, facing the stock material, and then doing the bottom side first and then the top side, using the Lego base plate as the jig holder, and then also using a PCB alignment bracket for the Bantam Tools PCB mill. So we'll go through all that stuff. But we'll take a break here to take a look at any comments and stuff. And
people like.
Cool.
This is cool.
Yeah, I think if anyone has a CNC mill out there and you got some cut-off pieces, give this one a go. It's going to be a little bit different, when you're using a different CNC machine, but the processes should kind of be the same and should be adaptable to your machine.
All right, post links to the video and the Learn Guide so you can follow along step by step.
Cool.
Do Duplo minifigs exist? Yes, I don't want to run down and get it, but we have that latest Jurassic Park one.
Yes.
You got really Chris Pratt, we got the T-Rex, and the little baby Triceratops. So yes, there are Duplos.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yes. All right, so if you head on over to learn.adafruit.com, you can see our Learn Guide is there. So the first page is just going to cover what the guide is about, and then the parts. So I have the Bantam Tools Desktop CNC. Unfortunately, it is no longer being sold, but if you do have a Bantam Tools PCB mill or the newer desktop CNC mill, it should work. Yeah, because they have about the same features. They use the same software. Yeah, and they both can use the alignment bracket. Yeah, they have a different alignment bracket, but again, like I said, it should be adaptable. Some of the tools that I used for facing the material, meaning I want to get our material to the desired thickness, I'm using a 1/8 inch flat end mill. This is the biggest tool I could use on the PCB mill, but if you're using something like the Bantam Tools, the desktop CNC, you can use a 1/4 inch flat end mill. This honking tool, you can just really run through your material, which is awesome. For the finer details like the studs and the walls, I'm using a 1/16 inch flat end mill. This is the fishtail downcut spiral bit. It works really well for top and bottom finishes, and if you use one of these bits, they do really good, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't have to sand the top studs, because they just have a really nice finishing on those fishtail end mills. Some accessories for the PCB milling machine is the PCB alignment bracket. It's a aluminum bracket, and the way it works is the PCB mill has a conductive spoil board, and it's able to probe the bracket to get precise measurements for locating the edges of the bracket and getting a zeroed in origin so that you can align it precisely onto the alignment bracket and just be one-to-one perfect. Some other things we're using here is the double-sided Nitto tape, a 1-inch wide tape. This is great for adhering. It's basically CNC milling tape. It's got a really strong adhesive, and it's great for adhering acrylic. Well, rather not acrylic. I would stick to wood with this one. If you're doing acrylic, you can just use regular double-sided Scotch tape. But I'm milling wood here, and this stuff is great for wood. And then hardwood material, I like to purchase mine from Inventables. You can get it from your local store, but I like the stuff from Inventables because it tends to be planed, surfaced already, so it's nice and flat. But even though they do that, it tends to warp during shipping and stuff. So we're actually going to walk through facing the top and the bottom of the wood so it's precisely flat and square. And that's the kind of parts. Those are all the tools and things that I used in the CNC project. So let's take a look at the CAD files. So it's all done in Fusion 360. Recently, Fusion 360 allowed more folks to get the free license, so you can refresh your license if you want to give it a try. It uses user parameters for the various features and a rectangular pattern for making the studs. So all of this is parametric. You can just open that little window and change all the different features, dimensions if you'd like. So that's all there. That's all there for folks. What else do we have here? And the CNC toolpaths are all a part of Fusion. That's what I really like Fusion 360 because you can do all the designs. It's all parametric, and then you have all of the toolpaths and stuff for milling, for CNC milling. So we'll walk through all that stuff, but I also have the G-code files available if you want to just build it as is and you want to make the 2x4 bricks. All the G-code is kind of optimized for the Bantam Tools PCB mill. All right, the next page we're looking at materials. So the different types of materials. Hardwood is what I recommend. You could use some walnut, some cherry, or some purple heart, or some maple, whatever you like. I found the cherry wood and the maple wood tends to kind of machine better, in my opinion. Some of the other materials like walnut and purple heart tend to have some more coarse kind of density, and they have a little bit tighter tolerances, so you might have to sand a little bit more on those woods. But that's what I found. Maybe it's maybe it differs on the actual material, but yeah, that's what I found. We start off by measuring and cutting our material. If you're getting a 1/2 inch material is what I recommend for these 2x4 bricks. You'll want to shave off about 1.5 millimeters away. Normally it's around 12.7 millimeters all the way up to 13.2 millimeters. So you are going to want to shave that stuff down either using your plane machine if you have one, or a hand plane. You also want to consider making your stock fit within the dimensions of your build area of your spoil board. The maximum build area on the PCB milling machine is 5.5 inches by 4.5 inches by 1.6 inches. But I recommend getting a little bit smaller because a lot of the times when you are switching out the tools, you need that little bit of spoil board because that's the way it's able to align and probe the tool's Z height because it's conductive. The tool will go all the way down to the bed and touch off, and when it touches, it senses that it is metal, and that's how it's able to get the Z distance, the height for the tool. So that's how that works. But however, if you have some cutoff pieces and stuff like that, you'll want to update that accordingly. So I start off with facing the top and the bottom material. So like I said, if it's about 13 millimeters thick, I actually want to surface the top, flip it, and then surface the bottom, and that way I can get it down to the desired thickness, which is 11.5 millimeters. That's actually how thick our bricks are going to be. If you're new to Fusion 360, there is a tool library which saves you a lot of time. So all of the tools that work with the Bantam Tools PCB mill are already kind of pre-made for folks. They have a JSON file that you can download from their website. And I'll just click on this just to show you that they have their own kind of learn guide by Amanda here. They show you how how to import your tool library into Fusion 360. So then you can just pick a tool and ready to go there. So that's really nice.
Really good comment by Gary T. Reminding everybody that yes, maximum build areas is usually just numbers for marketing. Definitely make sure that you have padding area like for and 3D printing, like when you print out your your what is it?
The skirt.
Yes, the skirt.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
Might always be under your work area. So yeah.
Same thing with the height too, because it might be 400 millimeters tall, but
it'll crash at the very end.
It'll crash at the end, or it'll like come off the rods or something.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Maybe not.
So definitely add some padding, or be aware of your padded area that is required for the tool to fit with inside that area.
Yeah. So the next parts here, I walk through modeling the stock. I find it easier to separate your stock tool pathing from your actual part machining. I just tend to do that because it just kind of separates them, and you don't have to kind of worry about adding a facing operation within the top or the bottom brick. So that's why I just like model your stock and then face it that way. So I walk through here all of the panels and things you have to click on to get your stock set up in the manufacturing workspace of Fusion 360. So I walk through that. We walk through doing the face operation, and then here are some feeds and speeds. This is really the recipe, and it's really built and optimized for the Bantam Tools PCB mill. The Bantam Tools PCB mill has a max RPM of 24,000. I like to do a cutting feed rate of 1,500 millimeters a second. That's sort of my default go-to. And then the plunge rate is the only other thing I play with. But all the other settings I leave at default because you really don't need to mess with them. When it comes to the Bantam Tools PCB, those are mainly the things you want to do. How fast is the tool going? How fast is it spinning? And how fast is it going across?
Do I want to break my bit? Do I have an extra bit?
Yeah. And then, of course, the other thing is you want to enable multiple depths and then limit the maximum step down, meaning how many times it's going to step down, depending on the tool. So if you're doing the 1/8 inch tool, which is the biggest tool you can do on the PCB mill, a millimeter is very conservative. So I like doing a millimeter step down. So that's how I got that set up. And then posting the G-code, I walk through that. I got my own little naming convention where I kind of name the file with the tool first. So 1-8, the operation, it's a face, and then the size of the stock, it's 100 by 130 millimeters. That's how I like to name my files. So we walk through that, we export the G-code, and then we import it into the Bantam Tools software. So we set that up and just update our material setup. And I just kind of walk through all of that stuff there. It's pretty straightforward though. All right, and then in the next page, we're actually doing the facing of the stock. So, installing the tool, and then actually using the Nitto tape and applying it to the surface of your stock, aligning it to the spoil board, milling the file, removing it, flipping, and repeating, and all that stuff. So check those out. It's pretty specific here. So the first, after our stock is faced, surfaced to the desired thickness of our bricks, we're going to start off with the bottom of the brick. So I walk through setting up the tool paths for this. Of course, the G-code file is already available if you want to just do that, but I walk you through here, doing all the right settings and stuff. So we're using a contour operation, a 2D contour. That just lets you do a simple 2D cutout. Our bricks don't have any really 3D bits to it. So it's just going to do a 2D path over and over again until it cuts out one brick. So we walk through that. And then so I'm using a 1/8 inch tool to do the contour just because I feel like you can do it faster. You don't want to use a small tool to do the full cutout because the smaller, thinner tools, they just aren't that long. So you have to kind of consider that. And then the pocket is what we're going to use next, the 2D pocket. And then we're going to use the 1/16 inch mill, because the 1/8 inch, it just can't get in between those tubes. So that's why I have to use that 1/16 inch flatted mill. That's kind of my go-to tool for acrylic cutting, by the way. But yeah, this is wood. So we do want to do we want to limit the maximum step down to 1/2 of a millimeter, and that's really conservative. You could do the full millimeter, especially with hard wood, but I really recommend doing like 1/2 of a millimeter, just so that you can extend the life of your tool, right? Cool. And then after we've done the contour, after we've done the 2D pocket, now we can start doing a pattern. So you can actually do patterns of tool paths within the manufacturing workspace. So I walk you through that, and this is where you will want to kind of adjust it to fit your stock material. So with the stock that I walked through above, I was able to do 15 bricks. So that's 5 up and then 5 on the long ways. This would be the y-axis and this would be the x-axis. You can flip that around if you want, and then I have screenshots here and some text that show you how to add an additional pattern direction, because I'm doing it up ways and this ways. So you're doing the x and the y, and then you can change the instances on how many you want. And I kind of figured out the right distance between the bricks so that I could, like, use the most of the stock as possible. If you get it too close, you'll start to, if the spacing is too close between the bricks, you might start eating away into one of the bricks. So you kind of have to have this this good amount of spacing between those bricks when you're doing the pattern. Then we export the G-code out, and we do the same kind of process, but for the 2D pocket, and that's with the 1/16 inch end mill. So we're pretty much using the same values for the spacing between them, so they have to be consistent. And then inside the Bantam Tool software, you get a nice visual representation of the parts that are going to be milled on top of your current stock. So here in the screenshot, you can see how I'm pretty much using all of the stock on the Y, and I have a little bit of excess on the X axis. You could actually, after this milling is done, you could reuse that bit, flip it around and put it back on, and maybe make a 1x3 bricks coming out or something like that. So you could always reuse the excess stock, which I think is pretty clever. So we walk through the milling process here. I talk about finishing the bottom brick. You do want to do a little bit of light sanding, and then we start test fitting the brick with an actual Lego base plate. So that's the first one, and then we can add more. This is just I think it's like an 8x8 plate. I don't actually use that because I have more bricks, so that's why I picked the 4x12. So then we want to update the top model to accommodate for whatever amount of bricks we want to do that are going to get snap fitted onto our base plate. So here I have, I turned it from a 2x4 brick into a 4x12 brick, because that's what our jig is going to be. So you kind of want to update the top model to reflect whatever your Lego base plate you want to choose. So I walked through that, setting up the top side stock, and then setting up the pocket. So when you're doing the top side, it's much easier now that it's already cut out. All you really need to do is the pocket using the 1/16 inch tool. Yeah, so it's a lot easier to do the top side. Less stuff needed. So we walk through exporting it out and then updating our material once again to accommodate for the Lego base plate. So we just update that material thickness, and once you bring in the G-code that we've exported, it just renders out really nicely in the software, in the Bantam software. And yeah, you get that going, you get the material updated, you get your G-code installed, and then there is a little bit of a procedure for installing the alignment bracket. You click a button that says align the bracket, and you will change out your 1/16 inch tool. What you want to do is flip the 1/8 inch tool so that the blunt edge is facing down, and that gets used to probe and touch off the edges of the alignment bracket. The sort of alignment bracket has a little kind of wizard that walks you through the steps of installing the tool, using the screws to attach the alignment bracket to the spoil board. So Bantam Tools did a really good job on that, because like everything is just like ready to go, and the procedure is really nice. So once you have your alignment bracket installed, I'm using more Nitto tape to fit on the bottom. You can see here that the wide tape works out really well for this, because there's not really a lot of surface area on the bottom of a base plate. It's just a bunch of tubes. But there's enough tubes there to really adhere to the bed, and the Nitto tape is really strong stuff, so it holds up pretty good. So you just want to be as square as possible when you're lining up the base plate to the lower left corner, because that's like the origin of where it is. And once you have that base plate installed with the alignment bracket, you can just press fit those blank bricks. Those bricks have the bottoms all cut out, so you can see the top there is nice and kind of blank. So once that's all ready to go, we can start milling, and that's what it looks like at the end. There's no, for me, there wasn't any cleanup to do on the top side of the brick, which is really nice. And to remove them, you're just going to apply some pressure and pull them off. And but they held in place really nicely, especially on the first kind of go. They have a really nice tight fit, and as you kind of play with the bricks and start building stuff, the tolerances loosen up to the point where they're not as firm, but you kind of want that firmness in the initial, milling operation, because you want those bricks to stay in place. Test fitting works out really well. Once you get your first batch, you can start stacking them to see if they all fit in the right orientations, and then you can make a block by like doing doing sets of 3. Since we cut 6 here, you can create a block just to verify that they all fit nicely. And that's kind of really the whole guide. Lots of fun, really great kind of project for doing double-sided operations for milling. And I'm going to make some more bricks. I'm going to try to do some different sizes, maybe a Duplo as well. That'd be really cool to do, a Duplo brick.
Yeah, we have so many spare pieces of wood that we don't want to throw away. We don't know what to do with. They're too small to really put into a project unless you can
so combine them all. Yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of these and maybe make some bigger ones or something.
Yeah, I like how this you're able to combine all these together and make like that really cool like wood that is like lathed together to make it look all cool.
Yeah.
You do that with the plastic ones.
I was able to make a bit of a pyramid. And should I open up the Lego, what is it called?
Oh, the brick builder?
Yeah, it's called Studio. So there is a piece of CAD software by Bricklink, I believe. And I actually modeled it in here so I could show it to you. So I'm going to open it up and see what I get here in a second. Pedro's going to build something here while I fire up this CAD. So it's called Bricklink Studio. So search for that, and here is my pyramid that I made. I'm about to flip it here. So here is the the little pyramid that I made out of so this little pyramid is made out of nothing but 2x4 bricks. So in the sidebar here, you got all your brick types. You can change the colors, and you can kind of add different steps and stuff. So this was a cool little build I made. I designed it first just to verify how many parts do I need. You need about 83 bricks, and I guess I've made 83 bricks in total. So I think I used just about all of them, except for this one. I never made a 2x2 brick, but I just threw that in there and just kind of look kind of cool. Yeah. Do you want to see how to build it? You kind of. I don't know if I can hide, but anyway, that's
cool.
That's kind of a neat kind of a thing. Let's go back into the overhead. There it is.
I made nothing. I made a house.
You made a house? Great. You made a little house. Yeah, there's all sorts of combinations you can do with the bricks. Yeah, so I'll see what other kind of fun builds I can make with the just 2x4s. And maybe I'll make some other sizes. But I stuck with the 2x4. It's kind of your common brick.
That's pretty cool, yeah. Lamar, we have to get her approval to make these projects, and when you were done, it was triggered her childhood
Nostalgia?
memories of
Yeah.
nostalgic Lego building, wishing she had these Lego wooden bricks, especially with like the going towards like eco-friendly, way.
These will-
Like, we have
these will decompose nicely.
bioplastic. How about wooden ones?
Yeah,
but we can see why. It's
Yeah.
pretty hard to make so many of these at mass scale.
And you can buy some of the wooden eco bricks, I think they're called, wooden building bricks off of Amazon. But they don't work with the Legos because you have just a different. Maybe it's a legal thing, but the patent has expired, so I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
There's also I think a company out of Japan that makes their own bricks out of like bamboo wood and stuff.
Yeah, that would
So,
be cool.
that's
Let's get
cool.
some bamboo. All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
that is this week's
that's
project. It was a
project.
good refresher in CNC milling and two-sided operations and using some kind of unique methods for as a jig holder. This Lego plate
That was a really good idea.
It was fun. Very fun. Yeah,
I think that's it.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool project, and there'll be more.
Yeah,
There'll be more Lego stuff. I think we just did like 3 back-to-back Lego projects. So
Yeah, it's been Lego.
it will continue.
Yeah, and just for folks, we will be at Legoland on this Sunday.
Our first time. How
Our first
funny!
time at
We've done
Legoland.
so many Lego projects.
So we're gonna bring our little Adabot.
We're gonna bring a couple of these.
Yeah,
give
and
out,
I'll
leave
think
them
I'll bring
around.
some of these too, and maybe give them out to anybody who might be interested in this type of stuff.
I guess we'll return. We got the annual pass, so we'll be there multiple times.
Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to check out the Brick Factory.
I know the one at Disney Springs is pretty cool, but it's not Lego Land.
Yeah, they have some custom, unique stuff that they don't sell anywhere else. That'd be cool. I really like these Lego dots. They're fun to play with.
Yeah, they have like a whole section.
It's a whole like design methodology. Here's another kind of thing I made. This is actually walnut wood. I didn't want to do the bottom because I just wanted to make a bit of a coaster. So there's some
That's so
really
cool.
fun shapes you can make with the Lego dots. So that's pretty neat.
All right, quick question over from the YouTubes. Connor is asking, any recommendations for a desktop milling machine since Bantam no longer sells their small one?
Yeah, I think something like the Nomad from Carbide 3D might be a good option because it's enclosed.
Oh,
And it looks like it has a good method for probing and alignment brackets. So check that one out. I think it's reasonably priced. I don't have personal experience with it, but check that one out. Of course, the X-Carve from Inventables is another option. That's kind of a bigger format one. So if you want to do big projects, maybe go that route. And then, of course, you could also build your own. Melissa, who's on the remote team with us, she built her own CNC router.
I think JP built one as well.
JP built one as well, so you could always build your own as well. Those are going to be the bigger format ones, though, I believe. Might not be enclosed, so you want to consider lots of things when purchasing your CNC mill.
Mr. Certainly Bruce is sad they no longer sell it. So are
I am
we.
too.
So are we.
If I could get a hold of them, I would say, hey, maybe
V2.
Maybe try the
V2, man, come on.
It's a really good machine. It's a great, like, kind of, like, it's so compact.
I know, it's a work of art. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's What Are We Prototyping?
All right, here we go.
All right, so what we're prototyping this week, we've been watching the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series and their new hit Star. They always have to have a cute little robot. I got here one of the Lola 59 little companion robots I want to build out.
Cool.
So it'll have the 2 separate servos inside there. I think we're going to do the Feather RP2040, and it's going to do its nice little little wing action thing. We'll have some of those little button neopixels inside there. I don't know if we'll do some sound. I'll see if I have enough room to do the speakers on the bottom portion of the body there. But as you can see, doing the tests and the prototypes, so it looks like an Imperial Imperial
this is
Lolita.
just the glitter black filament that we have already. So.
Yep, it's the glitter black that we use for all the prototyping. Just getting all the little details down. There was some little bit of struggle to try to get those in there inside of Fusion. Went from trying to use a loft over to using the revolve. I did lose some of the... it looks like in all of the screenshots and in the video that it is kind of elongated, so I wasn't able to get that shape in there.
Yeah, it looks fine to me.
But it looks just like what it does.
Ladybug, right?
Yeah, it looks just like a ladybug. Or the thing that it reminds me very most of, what was that 80s movie, Batteries Not Included?
Oh, yeah.
Where it was all these little tiny robots that come down from like space. I don't remember what happens. Yeah, it's super cute. Like the way that they were able to animate and give personalities to those little robots was so adorable. So I think it's the same company who made all these. So definitely reliving some of that nostalgia and the retro for that. So yeah, that'll be the bottom place that's printing out right now. I have to redo the way that the hinges are. It's probably what they're using is a hinge that's on the bottom. There is unfortunately going to be a bunch of support material just because of the shape.
The shape is quite peculiar.
And putting a small drone in it to make it fly. That would be cool. That would be so cool, but it's like, where do you put the... maybe on the bottom, I guess, like a propeller. But no, we will give out all of the files so people can...
might do that.
Yeah.
I'll do lots of fun foam projects.
Absolutely, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Andy Calloway says it's like a cross between a ladybug and a cat. Yeah. So probably for the dome, I'll try to figure out how to do that one. Might not even have one just because of the printing. Yeah. It might be able to be clear enough to just print the dome in the translucent filament.
Right. Okay.
And yeah.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Just starting out with it. So
2 servos.
2 weeks from now, maybe.
Yeah. Should be ready by then. And yeah, just getting the hinges and the shape, the rest of the body, and all of the mounts for the board and everything. But so far, got a nice little shape going.
Proportions and stuff. So.
Yeah, I think so. It's about the size of a hand is what it looks like.
You can palm it on your hand. Cool.
Bruce says it looks suspiciously like mouse ears. You're right.
Yeah, a little bit. I see cat ears.
Yeah, and that's what we're prototyping. Nice little...
Look at those hinges.
Yeah, Imperial Lolita.
Imperial Lolita. Yes.
Very cool.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Next up, we'll do a little bit of shop talk.
Oh, yeah. So
let's get our...
Lamar's getting some really cool samples in. And we found a source for them. So like, okay, because PT wants projects made for it. So we're like, oh, let's get prepared and start figuring out dimensions for modeling.
So these are PCBs with chip LEDs. These are all surface mounted components. And you can see there is a coin cell and a coin cell battery holder. But where's the on-off switch to turn it on?
So they're using a magnet to have the switch turn the LED on and off. So when you get a magnet pretty close to it...
It's like magic, huh? Yeah. Boop. Turn it on. Turn it off. These are actually advertised as Gundam model LEDs. So you can imagine these could be embedded into all sorts of different objects and models. And then you would use a magnet to turn it on and off. What a clever way to turn on and off an LED. I think I hit it twice there.
Yeah, so completely different from the wireless LED ones where the power is grabbed by the coils wirelessly. This just has the battery inside, and you're using the magnet to turn the switch on and off. Right. It's the distance. It looks kind of cool and magical there when you have it on the bottom, and it just turns on.
So, yeah, they're pretty small. They're about that big. These might be different than the ones we get in the store.
Probably.
We just wanted to get some on hand.
Just so we can start modeling.
Pricey. I think they were $12 for 2 of them, or maybe 1 of them. So we'll see what happens. We wanted to share with these with you folks.
It just looks so cool.
Yeah, you can see there's an IC there. I don't know what it's doing. Maybe it's something with the power. We'll have to let Lady Ada explain. what's going on there. I can't get a good focus there, but you know, there's a chip LED, some sort of SOIC, and then some sort of another 3-legged IC there. So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, and these are green because Gundams are green. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get different colors.
Yeah, these magnets are quite small. Neodymium magnets.
Mm-hmm. It does come with magnets.
Right, and they're a little bit bigger.
And that's a nice little shop talk.
A little shop talk. Cool. Yeah, we also have another shop talk. Hold on, I forgot.
Whoop.
Definitely check out the CAD repo on GitHub. We have some new parts that I forgot to talk about the last 2 weeks. So this is the Anno rotary navigation encoder breakout. It has the plastic bit, the pins, and the PCB, and the silkscreen. So if you want to make a cool project and embed this into a neat project enclosure, you can use the 3D model to kind of get the mounting holes and stuff. But yeah, we also have another one. This is the Feather S2. I'll be working on the S3 and the other new boards throughout the weeks, but I just wanted to share that there are some new parts that you might want. And as always, if you have some part requests, you can add them to the Issues tab in the GitHub repo. One way to find out when things get added is to subscribe to the GitHub repo. Giving it a watch or a star, I guess, is cool. And then to see the list of the new stuff, you can click on this over here where it says 180 commits. It's this thing here on the top right. You click on that. It'll give you a full breakdown of the parts that are added and the date. So you can see here, I added a bunch in May 19th. I added all these things here, and all of these were pretty much requests. So just to let you know, like if you add a request, give me a little time and I'll get to it. So things like the 6-DOF IMU and the 1.3-inch TFT bonnet, the RGB matrix bonnet for the Raspberry Pi, a 40mm speaker, the Permaproto Gizmo, all of those, the nunchuck adapter, the MPC 3117 GPIO expander, etc., etc. So under the Issues tab, you can see here the parts requests. And it looks like we got some new ones here. The DIY USB HDMI parts. So I'll have to get those together. Cool. Yeah, that's a fun one. So that is this week's Shop Talk. Some new LEDs and some new CAD files. And now we can take a look at Community Makes.
All right, we got a couple of them. Last week's Community Makes was this super cool articulating Quetzalcoatl.
Try again.
Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl. This is the feathered serpent from the Mesoamerican culture. It's a bit of a snake with feathers. Sometimes they have wings. Super cool articulated design. It's print in place, and we use some rainbow PLA filament. And the scales and the details, little kind of swirls, looks really cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Pedro used some fishing string here to kind of demo it in the video. A lot of fun. It printed out really good. It's kind of ready to go when you print it, right? Like you didn't need any finishing or anything.
No, that's it. And here it is on camera, the silky rainbow, like the way that they do the changing on the filament spool, was perfect for this. So you have like a little belly, you have all of the, well, most of the rainbow colors on his feathers there and on his tail. So it looks like it was, you know, kind of planned with the green being on the top of the scales. Yeah. I didn't plan any of that. It just was perfect in terms of what color was coming up next to change. This is a free model. They're using the little chain like geometry to have all of these linked together. And there's a couple of different sizes too, so you can print a smaller one or a bigger one, and different orientations as well. And the detail on this is fantastic. Yeah, check out all of the little the scales they were able to get in there.
Yeah, I like the swirl, the kind of square swirls. Very Mesoamerican.
Yeah.
So this was designed by Cold3D user rextruction. Rextruction. And so you can download it for free off of colds3d.com. Here's some photos. Also use some rainbow filament from what it looks like.
Definitely where they go.
Pretty cool. Lots of folks have already seen it. And that's how it prints on the bed. Looks like it was printed flat ways. You can kind of see the ghosting on that Prusa i3. Good stuff.
Super cool.
And yeah, check out Rextruction on Colds3D and check out some other designs.
Okay, that was last week's. Super cool. Like you were saying, you could put the string on there, do a little puppeteering in it. I actually wanted to put the little acrylic little sticks on there to do his little head turn, but ran out of time.
Sure.
And then from this week, I see a bunch of these nozzle models always getting posted, but I really like this one because it does double as an actual pen tool holder with a secret compartment on the underneath there. You can see where the nozzle gets attached to, and then we're using this little base plate here thing with some screws and a nut to keep it up. I like the way that illusion maintains, because at first I was like, how is that tiny little thing gonna hold something with substantial weight on the top as a holder? And that's how. I think it was a M8 screw with an M nut, and that does a really good job holding it in place. I really like the way that it's a thing you see all the time. Your nozzle for printing turned into an actual. It could be a nozzle holder. Sure. A little storage for that. And here it is on the overhead. We're using this really nice gradient blue to silver. Did have some sort of like twisting action going on here, so you do have some like banding, striations, from the color, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, it looks good.
For the price,
for this sort of stuff.
I'll take that out there, and you can see where the screw goes in there with the nut. And I don't know if I'll be able to. Yep. Let's see. I'm gonna take this out here. You have a nice little hidden compartment on the inside. So you can have some hidden nozzles on treats, something chocolate on your desk.
Some gummies.
Yeah, like that. And you have ample amount of space in them.
Scalable as well, I assume?
You shouldn't be able to scale it, yeah.
Cool.
This no scaling on this one. It seems to be big enough to hold a nice amount of assortment of tools that you use for printing. Or just stationary pens and stuff.
Fantastic name. International Man of Mystery on Thingiverse posted this up. And here's some photos of their build. They put these little cocoa beans or something. Chocolate beans.
Probably the espresso beans or something.
Right.
And really nice touch. You have.
It's a remix of Jen's Nozzle Bank. I like Thingiverse for that. You could always get a
attribution.
Looks like it was on printables. So here's the source. So what did they change it? I guess they
added the hidden cavity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the M8 bolt.
Yeah.
M8 nut. Cool. But good to give attributions to Jen. So Jen did the original here.
And then the really nice touch is that there are multiple different bases. You can have like a hexagonal base, you can have a square, or a circle base. It's the filament that is being extruded.
Cool. There's
different bases
for both models. Cool.
Very nice.
Alrighty, so there you go. That is this week's
time lapses.
Timelapses.
What do you need to make? I think there's a couple of models for this week.
Now, can we put the snake inside the nozzle?
There's a snake in my nozzle.
Does it fit?
And maybe the smaller version, because this is the bigger one.
Cool. Well, then you can wrap it around.
Haha. Chokehold on the nozzle.
That nozzle there. Rawr. Cool. Okay, let's see. What else was we going to cover? Oh yeah, some community makes this week, right? Let me get some links together. I think we have a few that were sent to us. So first up, we have a make of the Perma Proto case, snap fit case. So if you have a Perma Proto project and you're looking for an enclosure that has vents and some mounting holes and snap fits together, you can use this. And I'm going to look for makes in the comments. And this was posted up by Perusa user MCXX, and they say it works great. I just clicked on it here, and it looks like they have it secured to a piece of wood here. It looks really good. And you have lots of holes and stuff to get wires out. So it looks like it's an ESP type module, some other cool things. So that's really nice to see. All right, next up. See what I can find here.
Next one is the Nefertiti bust, and it looks like they did a hollow version of it.
I think something got overwritten.
Oh.
Yeah, somehow this changed. Can you undo something?
All I did was select to copy this over. Yeah, I didn't do anything.
I don't know why it's there twice. It's supposed to be... I don't know. But let's take a look at Nefertiti then, shall we? So Nefertiti bust, all we really did was we took the high resolution model from a few years ago and we reduced the polygon count and made it hollow so that folks can make it into a planter, but it looks really good in this kind of brown material. And let's see if there's any comments that I can read. Awesome, thanks. The printer was a BQ B1. And some supports and 0.2 resolution. Looks good. Yeah. Could also double as a tool holder. Nefertiti tool holder. Cool. You looking for anything in particular?
I'm looking for the makes.
Yeah, makes don't show up like that, unfortunately. Yeah, they show up in the dashboard and then they get lost. So it's kind of hard to keep track of these things. But I think that was it. I could try to browse through my email, but
that's fine. We can save it for next week.
I think that was it.
Looks like we're out of time anyway.
Yep. I'm out of energy too, if you can't tell. So we'll start closing this. Does anybody have any comments or anything? Looks like chocolate. It's good. Good observation. Andy Calloway. Looks like chocolate. I want chocolate. Yes. I want Lego chocolate. Does anybody want Lego chocolate?
Certainly Bruce is saying stop eating my support material for all the, guess the chocolate printers. I think that is what you do with the support material. It's like licking the spoon when you're making cake.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Bruce. Great comment. Pleasure being able to catch up with you all this week. Hope everybody's doing well.
And there was a quick comment or question from Roy on
YouTube.
The Desert Kiss Dice Tower. It's taking about 1 day, 8 hours. Does that seem about right? Yeah, that's usually how long these take. Especially a nice little big model like that. It's a big skull. And I want to go print that now. Looks so cool.
Cool. All right. Well,
we got a full lineup of shows for the rest of the week. Starting with later tonight, we're going to have Show and Tell.
A special edition hosted by Liz Clark.
Cool. We'll be there.
Yeah. And then the following week will be hosted by JP, John Park. And then the following after that will be us. So it'll be Liz, JP, and then me and Pedro.
Yay.
So we got this.
Fun times.
The rest of this month's as Show and Tell.
And then
just call it Show and Tell. I don't know why it's seen in Show and Tell. I'm gonna call it Show and Tell.
And then immediately after the regular Ask an Engineer.
At 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Full hour of Lamar and Phil. Open source hardware, Python hardware. Do we do the Ion MPI?
I think so. Yeah. And then, of course, all the cool stuff. Secret
new products.
Things that's coming out.
Stuff. Maybe a time lapse of that Disney building.
Ooh.
And maybe some new buildings
that
they're looking at.
Looks pretty sweet.
Did I spill the beans?
Oh,
my beans are all over the place. All right. And then tomorrow, Thursday, every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time is John Park's Workshop. Tune in to see John do all the crazy cookie funness of modular synths, tape decks, retro gear, just great assortment of fun stuff.
Another cool Star Trek build.
And he's back this week too. He did yesterday's Tuesday show. I'm almost there. Hold on. Fridays is Deep Dives with Tim. So you can tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific or 5 p.m. Eastern to tune in to what Tim is working on.
Very cool.
And then on Sundays is there it is.
Desk of Lady
The
Ada.
Desk of Lady Ada, where you can see the great search with DigiKey, sponsored by DigiKey, and all sorts of other fun, cool stuff, samples and whatever else they got cooking.
Oh man, I want that black ice
They
cream
got
now.
black ice cream. Yeah, I want some black ice cream for sure. Is it licorice? I don't know.
Very cool.
And then Mondays, we have the CircuitPython meeting. With the exception of U.S. holidays, they'll happen on Tuesdays the following day. But this week it was on a Monday, every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and it happens in the Discord chat room. And then on Tuesdays is JP's product pick of the week. Every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific, you get up to 50% off select items. This week it was a high-density NeoPixel strip. Those can get pretty pricey, so it's good to see those things getting discounted. And on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we do 3D Hangouts. We've been doing this since 2012 or 2013, right? So about 8 years, going on 9.
Woohoo.
Yeah. We'll let you know when our anniversary is, because I don't remember it off the top of my head. My beans are spilled all over the place.
We'll have some cake.
I spilt the beans.
All right, it's going to be it for this show. What's the closing line again?
It's this one. Okay.
Say bye, Roof.
Say bye, Ruth.
I'm hungry. Let's go.
Yes. So with that, remember to
Make a great day. See you later
Can you
tonight.
press that button right there?
Bow.
You can't. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tonight. Don't forget. I already said it. Bye, folks.
See you later tonight.
Get some sleep.